Rhythms Live is brought to you by Malta Guinness.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of our stories on our bulletin. There is a long-standing water crisis in Valgunda, a remote village in the Kumbungu district of the northern region. Now, for many years, residents have been consuming dirty water from a muddy pool created from rain runoff. This is the second of a six-part series titled Portrait of the Countryside. Joining us in studio for more of these details is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman. Welcome.
Thank you, Larato.
Yeah, but before I engage you more on what you have in store for us, let's just have a look at some of the excerpts from this particular series on water.
If indeed water is life, then residents here say they have died several times because water scarcity in this community has increasingly become a biting affair. We are accorded a rousing welcome by these cattle, whom from the direction we saw them had obviously had a field day at the same dam residents depend on daily for survival. And as it turned out, mounds of cow dung and other animal waste decorated the edges of the only water source for residents of Valgunda in the Kumbungu district of the northern region. Our arrival in this remote village was timely as residents had already begun their usual routine. Then we saw more women and children carrying all manner of receptacles as they made a stopover at the heavily polluted dam. The process started as they took turns to fetch the water. Now what I'm going to do right now is to get a cleaner sample so that we'll see how it pans out in this very particular bottle. All right, and the moment of truth has indeed come. You can see the color for yourself. This, no uncertain terms, is not good for consumption, but residents have no choice. They have to resort to this every day.
Well, you've seen it for yourself. No other option. That water is the only option they have for survival, which reminds me of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And one of them is just basic services like water. And yet our people in the north do not seem to have that, which inspires the portraits of the countryside. Hashtag Northern Lives Matter. But I have the man behind this in studio with us, Ridwan Karim Dini Osman. He will give us more details on this and also what to expect on this coming week. Ridwan, welcome.
Thank you, Larato.
Yeah. So tell us, so far, how's it going? How has it been going with the hashtag?
Well,
and also, what should we expect this week?
Exactly. The hashtag, a very radical one, of course, Northern Lives Matter, is doing very well on social media. Over the weekend, we had a lot of people talking about it. And so just to tell our viewers, if you are watching and you feel attached to the story or you can relate to the story, those in the northern region, the upper east region, the upper west region, all of them are Ghanaians. If you find yourself in a similar situation or you know communities that are in similar situation and you want the powers that be to also come on board and help address it, just go on social media, put your comment there, name the community, and add the hashtag Northern Lives Matter. And we will make sure that we get to those communities to tell their stories as well. Now, talking about the campaign, is doing very well. This week, it continues. We have 2 more very compelling stories.
Before you go on to the 2 more, I understand that also in the interim of last week, there was a reaction to you know, the portrait of the countryside already, even in higher places like Parliament, for instance. Please tell us a bit about that.
Yes, the sector minister, which is the minister in charge of water and sanitation, Joseph Kofi Adda, has been summoned. And so we are hoping that in the course of this week, he will appear before Parliament to answer why Ghanaians, in fact, some Ghanaians are drinking dirty water. And so some responses then. We are hoping that we'll get a lot of reaction from corporates Ghana who would come on board in providing potable water for some of these communities. But like I was saying, this week we have 2 compelling stories for you. We are going to the Savulugu Nanton constituency or districts of the northern region. We are looking at a community called Jagun and another called Zao. But tonight we are going to Jagun. And this community is not only battling thirst, but it is also battling education. Formal education is non-existent. And so you see an SHS or a senior high school graduate who has taken it upon himself to put up a makeshift structure. And you see kids as young as 5, 6, 7, they carry kitchen stools on their heads in the scorching sun with no uniforms, barefooted, and they trek to the school. And the sort of education that is given to these kids, it will just marvel you. So tonight, I mean, just stay on to GH1 TV and catch the story about Jagun. And of course, the hashtag continues unabated.
Thank you very much, Rudan. And I have to say also, well done so far, because something is certainly happening. Exactly. And I believe that whatever has already started will trickle even more reactions out
and never mind, there is a forum at the end of all of this. We're going to have a forum. All the stakeholders are going to be in the studio. The water minister, the health minister, everybody is going to be in the studio. We're going to play back all the 6 stories and we'll see clearly what government intends to do about the situation.
Absolutely. You've heard it for yourself. Then do stay tuned in. Look out for our news bulletins on GH1 TV. Don't miss out. Comment, opinions, whatever contribution you have. Remember the hashtag Northern Lives Matter on all our social media platforms at GH1 TV in all social media. Up next, we want to have a look at news making headlines beyond the borders of Ghana on our international news segment.
A 7.3 magnitude earthquake has shaken the northern border region between Iran and Iraq, killing at least 335 people and injuring thousands more. One Iranian aid agency said 70,000 people needed shelter after the quake, one of the largest this year. Nearly 4,000 are said to be injured. 7 people died in Iraq, where people fled into the streets in the capital, Baghdad. Mosques in the city have been broadcasting prayers through loudspeakers. Most of the victims were in the town of Sapol-e-Zahab, about 15 kilometers from the border. Iran's emergency services chief, Pierre Hossein Koulivand, was quoted as saying on Iranian state television channel Iran, the town's main hospital was severely damaged, leaving it struggling to treat hundreds of wounded persons. Many homes in the mountainous area are made of mud bricks and are at risk of collapse in a significant earthquake like the one that struck on Sunday.
Time now to have a look at our sports stories.
Ghana's Black Stars were held to a 1-1 draw by Egypt in their final World Cup qualifier at the Cape Coast Stadium. Ghana dominated the early stages of the game and went close from distance on a couple of occasions through Mubarak Wakaso and debutant Nana Poku Ampoma. Both teams were dealt first-half injury blows as Nana Poku Ampoma for Ghana and Pharaoh's defender Rami Rabia were stretchered off. Ghana had a strong penalty shout on the 20th minute mark when Raphael Jamina seemed to have been tripped by Egypt's goalkeeper Sharif Ikrami, but the referee waved away the appeals. The Black Stars continued to push and were denied twice on the stroke of half-time by Ikrami. Egypt began the second half stronger and went close straight after the restart through Shikabala, whose shot was brilliantly saved by Richard Ofori. Ofori was called upon again a minute later to deny Ali Gabor from close range. Raphael Jamina then had a golden opportunity to give Ghana the lead, but he shot wide from 6 yards from a Lumor Agbanyunu cross. The Egyptians soon punished Ghana's wastefulness when Shikabala fired home from inside the box after a wonderful cross from Mahmoud Hassan on the 60th minute mark. Ghana's coach Kwesi Appiah says he was convinced his side was not going to lose to Egypt in the final 2008 FIFA World Cup qualifier. The Black Stars rallied from a goal down to naught, the scoring in 3 minutes at the Cape Coast Stadium in the 1-1 draw on Sunday.
Well, there you heard it. That was our sports news, and I don't know if I should say our guys did well or not. It was a draw, still not much of a defeat. We will see how that translates on the international rank. But now we've come to the end of our news bulletin today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You go ahead and have a splendid day. Reminder of our primetime bulletin at 6:30 right here for more news.